Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. It's always great to have you join us on these sessions. My name's Shane Webb. I'm just doing a little bit of a welcome and not so much technical assistance today because I'm actually going to be doing some multitasking. I'm hosting another event that's starting literally at 2 o'clock. I've got 3 emails that I got as replies from the certificate run that we did, which finished yesterday evening. And I just thought I would just read these out to you. And I haven't asked permission from the people, so I'm just going to refer to first names, but I'm sure they won't mind. So Matt, and greetings to you, Matt. Shout out to you. You're also a KZN boy, just down the road from me. And in Hillcrest, he wrote, "Thank you for your email. Yes, the session was fantastic. I always manage to pick up a few new gems from each presentation. Please pass on my thanks to the team for the informative and engaging presentations. Looking forward to the next one." And I promised Matt I would do that. And so I'm just delivering on my promise. So there we go. Thanks, guys. And then Olivia wrote, "I received this just this morning. Thank you. I've received my certificate. Yes, the webinar was very helpful and also fun. I love that. It didn't feel like almost 2.5 hours. I'm really looking forward to the next one." Thank you, Olivia. And then one last one, and I'm sorry I can't read more, but we've got to get on with the job at hand. I'm going to be handing over to Christo in a minute. Alette wrote, "Thank you kindly. Yes, they were amazing. Lots of happy faces. It was a really happy email to receive. Please click on the link below." No, that's fine. Okay, so that was part of the message. Sorry. But Alette, thank you for your comments there, just that they were amazing. We think so too. So welcome to the session, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in. I know that you are connecting in from all over the world, and I know that our presenters are also from all over the world, but I'm going to leave that to you to explain, Christo, if I may. But yeah, thanks, Christo, to you and your team, and thank you to Clarissa and Michelle for handling the Q&A. You guys are just awesome. Over to you. Thanks very much.
Thanks so much for the lovely introduction, Shane. Always great to have you join us. Thanks so much, everyone, for joining today. And maybe just to touch on today's session. Obviously, we are doing an advanced session. The basics was on Tuesday. So advanced session today. You're welcome to stay if you haven't watched the basics. You can go back and watch it. It's on YouTube. And this one will also be going on YouTube. Recordings available on request as well, and all of those kind of things. As always, I just want to thank everyone for being here, for joining us. We love having our clients join us for these webinar sessions, and we know it takes of your day and your time. So we like to show off things, and we like to, especially the advanced, I think we want to show a few new things today. If you guys spot anything that's maybe like, ooh, this could be used in a cool way, or there's something in the system that you've liked, please send us feedback. As always, we thrive off feedback. We love input from our clients because you guys are the people on the ground actually using the system. You guys know what you need. We're not going to just build stuff for the fun of it. It's generally stuff that you guys need. We try and build, and well, that's I think why we are where we are today. Just a quick explanation on the team that we have here. Obviously, we've got a few presenters, but I do have 2 special guests. And to introduce them, I just want to say that there is a bit of a rumor going around that the UN once called them when there was a disaster, but they were too busy working on Draftworx Cloud and they had to decline, so the UN had to settle to get the Avengers. I'd love to introduce you to our two head devs for Draftworx Cloud, Brett and Marius. Fantastic guys, masterminds of their craft, and we just wanted to say hi to you guys. I think honor you guys for being awesome. I don't know if you guys have prepared any statements, but over to you guys, whoever wants to chat and say hi.
Hey, Chris, thanks so much for the intro. I don't have too much to say. I mean, thanks everybody for all the feedback that you always send us. I'm really proud of what we released last year in 2024, and I'm really excited for what we're bringing this year. I know Christo's got a few of the new features to show today. But thanks, Christo.
Thanks so much.
Hello, everyone. Thanks, Christo. Yeah, I'm also excited to be here today, and especially to see get the feedback what the clients are gonna show us. We're gonna have afterwards that you're gonna demo to the users. So very excited. Thanks, Christo.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Yeah, like I said, it's so fun having you guys here, and thanks for going out this step and yeah, doing that for us. Awesome. So today we're going to start off, and we're going to start off with a bang, guys. I'm going to show you all the new things that are going to be coming out in the next couple of months, because I love showing that. It's the favorite part for me whenever I do these demos. You can ask the devs, are they both here? But I bug them about like, ooh, can I show this off? And ooh, can I show this off? And there's some really, really cool features that we're busy working on. We're working on a very, very cool new feature called Client Portal. And what it is it's essentially a communication middle ground between you and your client, where you can keep all of your documents that are going into Draftworx, that's related to Draftworx, and so on. So I want to show it off a little bit today. I've got Nicole that's helping me out, and she's going to be my client. Hey, Nicole. She has Sunshine Co. That's her business. And I've created it in Draftworx. I've started working. And what I have done is, you'll see there's a new little button here. It says Client Portal. Now, this is coming out soon. It isn't on your guys' side, so just be aware of that. But I do want to show it off today. Now, there's a few things I can do. I can manage my client portal. In here, I would obviously enable this client for the portal, and then I can invite people. You can see I've already invited Nicole. So if I wanted to invite someone else, I can click there. You just put in your client's details, first name, last name. Their role is quite important. They're either your client or they are your auditors. So if you have auditors that are auditing the file and they also want documentation, you can invite them as well. So we can choose who we're inviting. So Nicole's my client, so I've invited her as that, and I put in her email address. All right, invite gets sent through to her, and she'll show you guys how that looks in a bit. But for now, let's go take a look at the client portal and see what we have there. So in the client portal, what we've got is I can click there and I can say view client portal. And this pulls me into the client portal specifically for this entity. All right. So it pulls me through to my Sunshine Co. essentially on the client portal. What we have, we've got a few different things. We have requests that we can send. And as you can see, I've actually already sent a request through to Nicole. Could you please send us a TB? If we click on that request, we can actually have a little note and we can see the conversation that's been going on. Now, this is a little typical experience that we often have with clients. I've asked her for their TB. I've asked her again. I've asked her again. And had to make the message a little bit longer just so that I could show something cool off. And I actually did a little upload. So one of the things that's important with this client portal is we can start uploading files and folders into here. Now, one of the nice things is if you're looking for a file, you can obviously have a long conversation here with your client. If you're looking for one of the files, I simply click on these 3 lines and you'll see there is all the files involved. If I want to go see context, click on the little arrow and it pulls me down to context, and there's my context of that I've imported the file. So some really cool features that we have with this feature request. We're still building a lot on this, and it's really going to be awesome. I can obviously mark something as complete. So if I did get the file, I can mark it as complete, or I can try and send a comment again. So we've marked that one as complete. I've left it alone. She didn't actually send me the TB, so let's send it to her. So I'm going to go again. Maybe she didn't receive my emails. Maybe I have the wrong email. Who knows what the issue is?
I was too busy on the beach. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that is typical of people that live by the beach, right? I live in Pretoria. Our only beach is a dam that I go and train diving in. It's not really that fun. But yeah, let's go. I'm sending that through. I'm assigning this request to somebody. So I can either assign the request to Nicole, or you can actually see I've got a few other people in my practice, late human, Wednesday man. So we've got a few people. So I can assign tasks internally as well if I want to, or I can assign it now to Nicole. So we're going to assign it to Nicole. We're going to give her a due date because last time we didn't, and then we didn't get what we wanted. And I'm going to send that through to her. Now on her side, now you can see there's now 2 requests. I've been given a new request, and then there are completed requests. So to keep nice track of everything and so on, we do have a split there. Now, one other thing to show you, and I'm just going to quickly show you guys, we do also have files. And this is all of the files and the folders that I have on my side for Nicole Sunshine Co. Company. So we've got company documents, financials, working papers. So I can sort that out. I can go create new folders if I want. I can upload my own files if I want, all of that. And you'll see there's actually an audit file as well. It's got a little lock on it. And the reason for that is I've got that for the auditors. I don't want Nicole to see what I'm sending to the auditors. So we just keep that separation between the client and the auditor, because we also want to see what they send through to us. So we keep that split for you. And essentially, she's going to be able to see these 3 folders and work inside of them, change things. The auditor will be able to see this one. And I can obviously see both because I am the middleman. So we've got a nice split there. But from there, Nicole, can you quickly share your screen? And then we want to quickly see how that request looks and how you complete that request.
Cool. Well, I am back from the beach now, so hopefully I can answer your questions. Okay, so obviously you'd get your email. Okay, so you can see I've got my invitation. I would go and accept and activate my account. It will then take me to this client portal here. So I'm new to client portal, or I have a client portal account. Obviously, if you're new, follow the little steps below, and then of course register and accept the invite. Okay, screen, sorry, just want to go to mine already. Okay, now I'm going to go into my company once I've accepted the invite. So just follow those little emails that we normally get. I'm going to go to Sunshine Co. because I can see Christo sending me a whole lot of stuff. Really enjoying the beach, but it's fine. I'll come back to work now. So can I please have the TB? Let me go into it. And I can see he's now asked for it. I can go and I can say, oh, I really didn't want to give you the TB, but I suppose I have to. So let me add the file. And then I'm going to go and I'm going to give him my trial balance. I'm going to open it. And I'm just actually going to upload it to the documents. And I'm going to save my work. And there you can see request has been saved. Krista, do you want me to share back to you?
Yeah, perfect. I'll grab the share quickly. We're going to hop between each other here a little bit, but fantastic. So now Nicole has added back the information. I can simply click on requests again. It immediately reloads. I don't have to refresh or anything. And we can see now I've got an attachment in this file. I'm going to go take a look. And there's the file that she gave me. So I can either click on it, which is going to prompt me to download it over here. Or what I can do, and this is one of the very cool features I really love, if I go to files, I'm now going to go and see, there's that file that Nicole gave me, but I'm going to use it in Draftworx. So why not just push it straight to Draftworx and not download it? So click on the 3 dots, send to Draftworx. And what we get is we can change the engagement if I wanted to. I'm going to leave it as is. But I can also then select the folder. So these are the standard folder structure in Draftworx. I can choose where to put it. So let's put it in Working Papers. And we're going to add it in there. And now, going back into Draftworx, if I go into my company again, Sunshine Co., you can see in my Working Papers, there's that TB. So fantastic, super easy and versatile to hop between. You don't even have to download your client's TB anymore. It's on the servers, doesn't take your space, and everything is there. So really, really cool features that's been built around this. And we want to add more to the client portal. There's really a lot of stuff we can do there, and we've got a few great ideas. If you've got any ideas, send them through. It's always fun to hear what you guys would like. Especially if it's something that you say, yes, you know what, I really struggle to get this from my client or that from my client. It would be great to be able to help you guys in that case. You'll see now what I've done is I have previewed my file. Let's say I've completed this whole set of financials for Nicole. So super fast, I've completed this AFS for her. I want to send it for signature. So I'm going to click on this arrow. So this is my standard print preview, right? We know this. Instead of printing and downloading, I can click on the 2 little arrows. and I can send this to the client portal as well. Send it off, and what I can do is I can choose a few things. I can choose where it goes. You can see those are the same folders that I had. So audit, company, all of those. And then if I say here, I can give it a name just as nice. So I can say to be signed, and then I can say create a request and send. I can either send it alone or create a request. But now we know with Nicole we should rather create requests. So we're going to create a request, and we're going to say,
Just so I can get that
please,
notification.
just so that she gets a notification on her side. And again, assign it to, again, a due date, and we save. And now it pops through to her side. And again, if we quickly just grab that share, Nicole,
You. Yeah.
then
Gonna
if you
jump into
refresh
my-
your side,
Oh, yeah, sorry. Refresh. Okay.
there's the new request.
So screen's loading, but I can see the please sign in the background.
Yeah.
Oh, apologies. There we go. So please sign. And then, Chris, so when I send this to you, I assume you get a notification once I've completed something, right?
100%. So if Nicole goes and signs it and sends it back, and she can actually mark it as complete on her side once she sends it, then essentially what's going to happen is I'm going to get a notification on my side as well. And yeah, we can go from there. So yeah, very, very exciting things we're working on. It's one of the cool features. We're going to integrate that with notifications as well. We're going to do email and in-app notification because we know everyone doesn't want to get spammed by a million emails. And so we're going to be working around that to do some in-app notifications and all kinds of fun things like that. But yeah, one of the very, very cool features that we have. And then I want to show a few other things. So we haven't. That's been the work of Fulcher so far. What a fantastic guy! He's been working
Go
hard.
Folly!
He didn't even take December leave, guys. This guy was working all December, and that's why we've got a fantastic product, I guess. So the other thing that I want to show you guys though is something that we've been working on quite a bit, and that is charts and what we call data bars. Now, it's not part of our standard templates at the moment in terms of the data bars, the grouping, the building of how things looks. But if you put a little effort into it and you go work on a file, you add some data in, you can really get a nice set of financials on your side. So you can see I've gone through, pulled in some information that you can do high-level overviews. There's some charts there that we can take a look at. And what's nice with this is now my monthly management pack. So I added a little bit more, obviously, into it. I added an extra sheet. I went and did the work. But all of this information is stuff we're building on, and you can get charts, and it can update. So if I connect this with my Sage, like we showed in the basics, right? You can get pretty much a new set every month or every 2 months. If you want to go in, all you do is hop into your working TV, pull in your new data from Sage, QuickBooks, or Xero, and immediately all of this is going to be updated because I've built it with formulas. And you pull in charts, your charts update, your data bars would update, all of the information's there. So some really cool features we're working on for live reporting. I think the need has grown in the last while for our clients to want live reporting, want information. And I think if I think back of my practice days, there were quite a few clients who I think would have really, really benefited from, data that's not every 6 months, that's quite live and active to what they're looking at. And so we're looking to improve this even more. Some of the cool features already there in place, and you can go do with it what you want. I went and built formulas here to go and do the gross profit margin, and then I just linked the chart to it. These calculations, it's not standard in Draftworx, but if you do the calculations, you can do whatever you want. Because we're based on Excel, it makes your life easy. So that is our charts and data bars, very, very cool. And then there is one other thing that I want to show you, and this is something that has been a long time coming. Very, very cool feature. And A drum roll, please. I mentioned it a little bit in the basics, and what had happened was Nicole was in a file, and I tried to go in, and it locked me out. Well, we're fixing that problem with collaboration on our side. So this would be full collaboration with people in your team. When I popped onto this file, you'll see there's something that you guys don't normally see. At the top here, I've got little symbols where it shows where the rest of my team is. So I can go take a look at who is where and in the file. So if you can see, if I hover over there, there's Brett, Clarissa, Michelle, Matebo, Nicole, a whole bunch of people. I can see on which sheet they are, along with what they're busy with. So let's go and take a look at some of those sheets. So we're going to hop through. We are going to go to the note sheet, and here I can see there is Nicole and Matebo. They're actively working. They're busy sorting out PPE, whatever it might be. So we can work together, obviously, as needed, and yeah, go through and balance our files. And this obviously extends pretty much to all of our worksheets. So it would be working papers as well. So if you have an audit or those kind of things, or a review, then you can do working papers together. You don't have to ask someone to hop out of a file when you're hopping into a file. You can just hop in and see, hey, listen, what you're up to, and have a quick look. So some really, really cool things. And yeah, we can literally just follow around. There's Pumi, I think. There is that Michelle, Brett, found you. Can find anyone we want. So some really cool things. I can just say hi there. And yeah, we can type to our friends and go on. Some really cool things. And I think that's going to be a great benefit to everyone. I don't know. It's something that we have been working very hard on for very long. And yeah, this was Morris's baby. And Morris, very, very impressed, very fantastic. And because Morris is really, really cool, he didn't just go and do the collab. He decided to actually add some speed improvements as well. So for the guys that want speed improvements, that's also going to come. So fantastic stuff. The one other thing I wanted to show you, and this is actually one of the requests we've also received a whole lot from, is to move our notes around. So moving our notes around, you guys know at the moment, it's a one-shot kind of thing. I select the note, I have to go and say move up or down, and you have to sometimes do it 20 times. So that's a hassle. We didn't like it. Clients didn't like it. And so we've decided to get a note manager. So if I select this, it pops up and I can see all of my notes. And I can see there's a few options here. I can either set it as original or not. I can show all, which shows the closed notes. But the best thing here is I can then move my notes around. So you can see I have moved loans to shareholder. It was note 9, it's now note 7. And we can see this with all the sheets, and we can shuffle them about as needed. So really, really fantastic. I think that's going to be a huge improvement. So one shot, move all your notes around, and we don't have to click, because yeah, that drove me crazy. So I think it's a fantastic one to get in. And yeah, that's all the fantastically awesome new things. Very happy to show that to everyone, and thanks for the team for hopping onto my file with me. Always good to have everyone join. But yeah, that's the new things that are coming. And now we will obviously explain to you guys as these things release. We'll put in some videos and emails on how they work, so that you guys also understand how they work. And yeah, for now though, we're going to hop back to the normal advanced. I'm going to show you a few things that you can currently do, because everything that I've shown you now is pending. They're soon to be released. But let's jump into things that we do know how to do, and well, can do at the moment. So starting off, first thing, this is just for the partners out there. Clerks managers don't have access to the feature. It's just something we always want to mention. If you ever want statement of account or something along those lines, just be aware you can drag it from your little gear at the top here, and you can go to practice reports, and you can easily pull yourself a practice report. It's got all of your information. You can check the billing history, check the dates that you want, and pull it into PDF or Excel. So you're welcome to do that. And then additionally, I just wanted to touch again on two-factor authentication. So it's something we've seen pop up quite a bit. The two-factor authentication, it is extremely important that you understand it is linked to the phone that you're currently using. So if you change phones, just be aware of that. A lot of the authenticators allows you to move things from one phone to another. So like Google Authenticator and Microsoft allows you to do that. But some of them don't, and then sometimes what happens is the guy loses his phone and now he needs to reset. So if that does happen, you're welcome to just email us and we will investigate further. But it is a high security thing because, well, we care about your safety, and so there's a few requirements if we do reset your two-factor. But for the guys wondering how to activate it, we simply go to the little box at the top here, and I'll go to my profile, and I'm actually going to disable mine quickly so that I can enable it again for you guys. And there's enable two-factor authentication, so I can go here, and it's going to give me a little explanation of two-factor authentication. We're linked with most of the authentication apps that you can use. Recommended Microsoft, Google, they have solid ones, so you're welcome to use those. If you're completely new to two-factor, we do advise watch a little video just before enabling it. It gives you good advice, gives you understanding of what you're doing. But yeah, I'm going to go next. It's going to ask me to scan a QR code. I can scan that code on my side, and I am going to get a verification code on my side then that I can type in here, and then it takes me through to the next step. Now this last step here is very important. So enable two-factor authentication, save your backup codes. These codes are not emailed to you. And the reason is for security, because two-factor authentication is supposed to be a protection for if your email is compromised. Because if somebody has my email address and they log in with my email and password, then essentially the only thing that's left protecting me is my two-factor authentication. And so these are then the codes that that I need in case I lose my phone. If I lose my phone and I can't get that 6-digit PIN, then we can do that. And then I can verify and enable it. And now I've got two-factor again on this profile. So now if I were to log in, it's going to ask me for that second verification code and all of that. So yeah, let me just pop that off quickly. There you go. All right, so two-factor, super secure. It assists you in security. If your password's compromised or something like that, you'll always be aware of it. Going forward, we're going to take a quick look at some of the additional features that we have in the working trial balance. So I'm going to select on financial data and working trial balance. And I did touch on some of these in our basics. I want to touch on some of them again, and I'll go into a little bit more in depth on how they work and so on. So one of the things that I showed off obviously was our direct imports, and we know that that works via Sage, Xero, or QuickBooks, and that you just get your details. It remembers if you have set it up already. So this is my practice from, or my client file from earlier this week. So it's already remembered, all of the info is there. So one of the awesome things. What I wanted to show you guys is I mentioned the opening balance test and I showed it to you guys, but I didn't show how the journal, the auto journal works. Now what happens is, let's say we have a bit of a problem in our financials, right? So I'm going to just go change something here quickly on my side, and we're going to just take out our sales for the prior year. So there was apparently no sales, and let me just fix that up. Okay, so there was some kind of shenanigan, something happened, and the TB from last year in Draftworx, which we finalized the financials for, doesn't match our TB in our accounting software. So I'm going to just run the import. The opening balance is there. The opening balance check is ticked, so we're going to activate that. And it pops up and there is differences. Now, the additional thing that we have is we do have this create suggested journal. Okay, so this is an amazing feature, really, really cool because it fixes your retained earnings problems. The thing is, it's not a full-time solution. Guys, you have to still go fix the accounting system. I have to emphasize this. It's a short-term solution, but it does the journal in the current year, not the prior year. So it's super useful because at the moment, I would be out with that million on my side in my retained earnings, right? Because the financials said that we didn't have a million, and the accounting system says we do have that million profit. So it's a big difference, right? So now I'm going to go and say, okay, let's create the suggested journal. We do pop up a warning here. When we do this journal, we are going to create it first as not recorded, so that you have to go activate it. So we create a journal, but it's not going to affect anything. You have to say, yes, you're happy with the journal and create it. So for the partners and the managers, if it sees there, just be aware that it creates it, but it needs to be accepted by everyone. So go have a double check. But you'll see there, we then do an opening balance journal for you, where it essentially goes and does the reverse to balance my current year retained earnings error that I would get on the financials. I do have to accept it, right? So I have to say, okay, this is a normal adjusting journal or whatever it is. And if I then do that and save, now the journal actually does go and affect my file. But you can see the journal is written in the 2025. So you'll see it balances out, it writes it in the retained so okay, that actually wrote it to share capital. That's the wrong one there. I think we just I didn't check it though, so that's my fault. But that's fine. So it essentially goes and balances out. So it went and fixed up my my balance sheet account, and then the other one, the balancing figure, should go against my retained earnings. So as you can see, we need to double check that. Retained income, make sure it is good. And there you go. And that should fix it. So my retained income problem is fixed, but ideally you still want to go back to your accounting package, fix it up properly, make sure that you're 100% correct, because you don't want to end up with issues on your side. Another very, very cool feature that we have that's been built into the system is if I want to investigate where a value is coming from or something like that. So let's take a look at my fees account. You'll see hovering over these, I've got this that turns into like a light blue text, light blue, yeah, the numbers all go light blue. So if I hover over it, I hold Control on my keyboard, all right, and click on that amount. What it does is it goes and opens up essentially my Sage on my side, right? So there I've got two journals that were created in Sage, and the amounts are there. It also does a test to see if this balance matches up. So there's a little tick, so it's saying yes, it does match up with what is in Sage. If it doesn't match up, like let's say my amount over here, which it shouldn't match up now, or maybe that one, my prior year balances. Let's go take a look at the prior where I messed around properly, because those would definitely be broken. There you go. So in my file, it's saying it's 0. There's a little exclamation mark, and in Sage it says, okay, there's 1,000. So now it's giving me a little warning. It tells me, listen, go and double check your values, make sure everything is. We suggest the re-import to get the correct values. So I'm probably just going to do that to fix up the file, and just re-import everything. And it fixes up my mistakes. So super useful features just to assist. You can drill down into the client's general ledger from here. Don't have to go pop open and look at all the rest on your side. All right. A few other things that we are able to do on the working TB that's very, very useful. We can go and change certain links depending on the year that they're in. So what I mean by that is, if I have this shareholders loan, so let's say this year it is it's current. The guy's going to pay it off this year, but last year he wasn't yet going to pay it off. So, we've got the non-portion and current portion, so on. If I want to change how that linking works, I can click on this little box. And what I'm going to do specifically for this loan from owners, there is a current portion, and if I scroll down further, there should be a non-current portion. There you go. There's a non-current portion as well. So if I want to make one of my accounts non-current and the other year, next year it's going to be current, I can simply find the non-current for the prior year. So you can see I'm in 2024. I can find then the non-current, and I'm going to say this, which is current only. So what that means is, in the year selected, the current year selected, that will change that linking, right? So now I've got this, there it says non-current. If I go into my 2025 year, we have it as current. So it's a nice time saver, super useful for those things. So yeah, you're welcome to use that. Saves quite a bit of time when you are doing complex set of financials. Resync prior year, another cool feature we have, and this one I think the example always comes up with. Back in the day, I had a client who needed to do a bunch of financials. I think we did about 3 or 4 years. And I was just grinding away, doing all the financials, getting through them. I didn't have time to wait for all the feedback. So I did the first year, sent it to the client for review. Did the second year, third year, fourth year, and I was almost done with the financials when I got an email from him saying, oh, but listen, I bought a car for the business using my own money, but it's in the business name or whatever it is. So now I had to go back to the first year, because that's when he purchased the car. I had to go all the way back, go and make the fix in the TB, adjustments, and then I had to go into the second year, make the adjustments, third year, make the adjustments, final year, make the adjustments. It's a waste of time, right? Everyone, I don't know, I had that, it was horrible. I don't know if anyone else has that experience, but it's never fun. So one of the things we have here is Resync prior. And what it allows Draftworx to do is it goes and looks in your prior year files in Draftworx. So now I've got those 4 years in Draftworx already. I go into the first year and I make the TB adjustment. Add the new vehicle, change the loan, whatever it might be. Then I go into the second year, and all that I do is I click on Resync prior. Because Draftworx knows that I rolled forward this file from that first file, it knows that they're connected. And essentially, it's going to ask me, yes, are you sure you want to resync? And I would say yes, and it's going to pull through all of that information from the prior year into the next year. And then I can just go through all of my files, and with the click of a button, it kind of updates everything. I still need to go make retained earnings adjustments. So if your retained earnings is off, just go make sure you still adjust that. But new accounts are added, the balances in the back are fixed, all of that's done for you. So it's really nice and super cool. All right, next thing, there's a few small ones we've got. Just to touch on them, remember that you can view monthly periods if you've got monthly data. We can pull in budgets, we can do interim accounts, all these different amounts. One of the useful ones I like in this little drop down is actually difference. Super useful if you're balancing a cash flow, guys. Difference, it shows me the difference between my current year and the prior year. It is invaluable if you have to balance a cash flow. Saves so much time, because then I can go and say, okay, let's take a look at all the CL items, and I can check the difference. Okay, there's no difference in that one. But you can imagine the time it saves if you're not sure where amounts are coming through on the cash flow and so on. So very, very useful. We do have a cool other feature that's on our side for, I just want to quickly see, there you go. For foreign currencies, one of the unique things that we can do, we can switch a file's currency if you are reporting foreign and local. Some clients have that requirement. So first, I do need to set up the foreign currency. I'm going to just touch on it quickly. Set up foreign currency. We can choose the currency symbol. Let's say we're just going to use dollar, USD. And we can go and do the spot and the average rate, right? So we can go put in the numbers, whatever they might be, for the year. And okay, I'm just going to do it for the 1 year and we can actually save, right? So now what happens is we save that. Nothing has changed yet. There's no figure in Draftworx that has changed yet, but we've set it up. So if I now open up my financials, it's still going to be at the moment in rands, right? There's no change. We've because I haven't activated it yet. I just want to show you guys quickly. We'll pop this file open. So statement of financial, or let's go to comprehensive income. There's my standard, whatever it might be. So now I'm going to go back to my working TB, and this time I'm going to toggle it. So toggle foreign currency, and the system goes through, builds, changes my values in the foreign currency, and if I go back here and refresh, we now have the foreign currency displaying. Takes a second or two to load, but you'll see now we'll have the new currency in. And you can see I did do my conversion wrong. Apparently, rands is a lot stronger than USD in my conversion. So we've got that, but the change is there, and it's quick and easy to actually go and modify. So very useful if you do have that client that's reporting in foreign currency or needs to do dual reporting, whichever it is, use that. It is different from the consolidation foreign currency. We're going to cover consolidations a little bit later, but when we do, I'll show you that foreign currency conversion as well. So that's if you've got a certain entity in the console that needs to convert. This is if you need to do dual reporting or something along those lines. So very useful. Cool. Hopping into our journals, some additional things there that I just wanted to touch on. And then we're going to have one of the other guys show us the coolest feature in the journals. But just a few small things that we are able to do here is you are able to move and copy a journal into either the following or the prior tax year. Move as well. So if you accidentally put it in the wrong year, you can move it around. We can import journals from Excel. If you want to import a journal from Excel, it's very similar to our, let me just grab a journal here. It's very similar to our normal journals. So you'll see or the normal imports for the TVs. I can choose my adjustment type, choose my description, reference, account number, all of those things. And we can just go and build a little journal on our side. So you're welcome to import from Excel, makes life easy. We can also activate data journals. These are for the guys doing management accounts. Make sure you just tick monthly journals. And you can see now I can modify the date, whatever I want it to be. You can just go and make those changes. And then for the very best feature of the journals, I'm going to introduce an awesome colleague of ours. And rumor has it that he doesn't have to follow the double entry principle. And that when they heard that he got engaged, the Johannesburg Women's League called for a 3-day mourning period. I present to you, Pumi. Take it over, bro.
Christy, thank you. Thank you. You're too kind. Thank you. Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Today, I will be introducing you to your new best friend. This is, of course, the direct journal exporting. Direct exporting is the key to ending your opening balance test nightmares. If I had this in my time, I swear, but that's in the past. Anyway, Since this tool is the best tool, we do have to save it for last. Once the figures have been confirmed and the financial statements have been signed, you will then come to journal entries. You'll see there's 3 options under above direct exports: Sage, Xero, and QuickBooks. Today, I'll be using Sage only for the illustration. Like a good parent, I don't have any favorites. To begin the process, since I want to process all the journals, I'll tick the box next to number, so that I select all of the journals. Then I'll go ahead and export. Journal export warning. This means I have a troubled child, and it turns out it's test 3. Test 3, unfortunately, I forgot to put a reference for it, and this is what happens when you don't include a reference for the journal. The reference is not our idea, it is from the accounting system, so shoot them if you have to. You do have the option to pass the remaining 3 journals, but we believe in no man left behind, so let's cancel in this case. I will then insert a reference for test 3, enter. See, it's not saved, so I have to save it. Now we're all good. I'll select my journals again and try to export once more. If you're not logged in, it will request that you logged in, but like I said, I've already chosen Sage, so I've already logged in on Sage when I was importing my TV. Journals are ready to export. Go ahead and export. This is where the magic happens, ladies and gentlemen. Well, red is always a terrible sign, especially if you're a driver, red is terrible. In this case, we have a warning against our bank account. This is because the accounting software prohibits us from passing any adjustments against their bank account. So it just pushes the journal back, and it now comes back to you as failed. In the second instance, let's check what happened there. I can see what's wrong by hovering over the exclamation mark, and it will give me a message. In this case, I have used an account that doesn't exist on Sage, so Sage just kicked it back because they don't deal with anything they don't know, which is the safest way to operate, to be fair. I have a couple points regarding posted journals. Since some were successful, these journals can no longer be edited. These journals have been successfully posted and they can't be edited. A note for the accounting softwares: posted for Sage means exactly that. The journal has been processed and it is written on the system. But unfortunately, QuickBooks and Xero, you'd still have to go onto the system and approve those journals that were posted from Draftworx. And ladies and gentlemen, as I said, your new best friend, I hope you love each other for a very long time. And I know this is the beginning of your happily ever after. Thank you for your time, and over to the original CB.
Shot. Thanks so much, Pumi. You can tell the man's recently engaged. A lot of love references there. I love it myself. So it's fantastic stuff. I wanted to highlight 1 or 2 more very important things for our posted and all of these journals. If you post the journal back, and as Pumi said, you should only post really when the file is signed off, but we know how it goes. Sometimes things get posted that shouldn't, and then they should get changed. Now, once a journal has been posted, it is in the accounting system. If it's been accepted in the accounting system, and now we import again, we're going to start getting double amounts and double journals and all kinds of horrific things like that. So the thing to make sure about is, we try and assist with it, but you'll see if I now do an import again, and I'm going to go and import again from my accounting package, I've got an extra tick here that says remove posted journals. And the reason for that is what the system does, because Draftworx has picked up, okay, you did post journals back to Sage. So if we now import Sage again, it's going to import that new trial balance, right? It's gonna import that new value. So I actually want to remove the existing journal in Draftworx, and so when I import, to avoid that double essentially journal that gets written, we in the journal entries, you'll see we now remove that journal. So just be aware of that. It is to protect you, otherwise you're going to sit with weird out of balance things, and there's going to be, you're not going to understand why. So just be 100% sure that you know how to follow that one and go through there. All right. Then from there, I would like to introduce my awesome co-host, Nicole. I don't have any rumors about you, unfortunately. But
Yay, no more rumors.
no more rumors. Only truths. But yeah, Nicole's gonna grab some extra cool features that we have, and yeah, please enjoy.
Thanks, Christo, for that intro. At least I'm not convincing giraffes how things work again. Great stuff. Awesome. Okay, so what I'm going to showcase, hopefully, are a few cool tricks. Also, quite commonly requested, how does this feature work and all of that. So what I'm going to cover now is a Caseware import. So I have a separate file that I'm in just to highlight this, of course. So what you'll notice, I'm in my working trial balance. Obviously, we can do a direct import, Sage, Xero, QuickBooks. No problem there. I can import from Excel, but I also have the import from Caseware option. So one thing to note is when we want to import from Caseware, what we would like is if you do have Caseware and it's on all the files are on the server, download it so you have full access to a whole Caseware file. Okay, that's just one tip from me. Now I want to go and I want to import my Caseware file. So I would go and say import Caseware. You can do this just the first time, all right? It's going to ask you to import it. You need to download and install. So I would click download and install. I'm not going to, as I have already done it, but you'd follow the process and eventually you'd end up with your download, okay? From here, run the setup as you would per any other application that you run on your computer. I went and easily put a shortcut on my desktop for you guys. So now I'm going to run my Caseware import, okay? All right. So there's my Caseware import, and now it's asking for a Draftworx cloud login. Those login details are obviously your cloud login that you want to go. So I'm going to quickly go and type in my logins. It would help if I was typing in them. Okay. And once I do log in, it's going to give me another screen. Okay. Now you're going to see a whole lot of options here. So select practice. If you happen to be part of more than one practice, you will see the drop down of your practices available. So I'm going to simply select the practice I'm wanting to do. I'm going to go and I'm going to look for my client. So you'll see I've got my Caseware import webinar file. And now I need to go and select the import file. The import file is your Caseware file that you want to pull from. So click on the three dots, and when I go and locate my whole Caseware file, you'll see it now kind of just shows 3 items. I'm very much just interested in the one that says DBF file. So I'm going to go and I'm going to pull that in. So I'm going to say open. Okay. Want to make sure I'm in the correct Caseware version. Want to make sure I'm on my default import method. And what tax year am I importing into? So I'm doing a 2024 file. I'd like to pull in 2024. But what do we like to have? Comparatives at least. Unless, of course, this is a first year file, then you'll only pull in your first year. So I'm going to go and I'm going to say, okay, I'm importing into 2024, and I'm going to go and select 2 years. Okay. Now, alter account numbers, change hyphens to forward slashes. Basically, that is just referring to the accounting package you're using. So you're using Pastel, and you know how it goes. It's 1000/0001. And in Caseware, when you look at it, it's now 1000-0001. And you want to convert that so that when you do use the direct imports, it matches the account numbers together. You would then go and say, alter the account numbers. So I think mine is, I'm going to go and alter it. And of course, I can go and link accounts automatically if I wanted to. So I'm going to say yes. And we're going to import my information. Okay, it's going to tell me the import is successfully completed. So let me jump to my file. Don't see anything there. So I just need to basically refresh back to my financial data, back to my trial balance. And wham bam, full trial balance a whole 42 entries. I can go and click on the link here and see, nope, everything's been matched. Obviously use my professional skepticism, just check, yes, okay, the expense descriptions are correct, or the loan for the shareholders details pull through. Because remember, your link description ultimately is what's going to be showing on your financial statements. So that's kind of where you would go with your Caseware file. Note, we only pull in the trial balance. We don't convert the full set of financial statements. Okay. And that is a very simple Caseware import that I have done. Now I'm going to hop into the file that Christo and I are busy in. So one thing I want to highlight here, and this is kind of for guys that are in a team situation as well. So we do have what we call electronic review. Now, electronic review is something nice in an accounting firm where, you get your clerks to sign off that they've prepared, then your manager reviews it to see that it is in accordance with what they're wanting, and then, of course, partner review, okay? So I come from a line of, accounting firms, and what would we do? We'd always go and print it, go sign and date in the corners and all that stuff, marking that we prepared it on this date, and then the manager reviews it a week from now, and then, gets signed off. So ultimately, electronic review is kind of that process. Okay, so I'm going to go and I'm opening my electronic review screen. Okay, mine looks a bit bland at the moment, but that's okay. We're going to kind of go through it. So you'll see it gives me a breakdown of all my different information. I can see working trial balance, I can see journal entries, I can see my financial statements. If I have working papers, they kind of pulls through all those working papers that are relevant. Now I have got a column that says prepared, reviewed, partner reviewed, exception, not applicable, and then locked. Okay, so if I lock a column, that means no one can edit that specific working paper or financial statements from that point on. If I mark something as not applicable, naturally it's not applicable. An exception normally pops up if I go and add a review note. Okay, I'm going to do that in a moment. And then, of course, prepared is for your first level, reviewed is your second, partner review is your partner review. Okay. As I am partner, I do kind of have access to do all of these at the same time today. So I'm going to try and spice it up a little for everyone. So one could go and mark that, I've gone and I've prepared this, okay, from the electronic review sign. That's great. They'll tell me that it's prepared there. But most of us are normally working inside a working paper or anything along those lines. So I'm going to go to my PPE read schedule. Okay. So again, I can come into my PPE schedule. I would obviously go give it a little bit of a tick mark to say, I agreed to the fixed asset register. Great stuff. I'm now the clerk. I go and I say I've prepared. So if I am logged in, if I have got manager access, I will see prepared, reviewed, no partner review. When I'm logged in as a partner, obviously I can see all three. So now I can go and I can say, okay, great. I'm the clerk. I'm happy with this work. I'm going to prepare it. There. I didn't have to go now write my initials, date, and time. It's done it for me. Click the button. Happy days. Right. We now come to a situation where the managers come in and they're looking at this and they see something and they're like, what? I need to ask Nicole a question. Okay. But in this case, Nicole's going to be another staff member. So I want to send the other staff member a note. And I'm going to say, okay, let me go and I'm going to add a note here. Okay. So you'll see on the right-hand side where all our shortcuts are, there's this little thing that says add note. So I'm going to do a note. I can obviously go and say an observation, a matter for reporting, a risk or an MLP. Okay. Note, simple. Title, I'm going to ask. Okay. Right. And I'm going to assign it to dear old Fulsha, considering he spent the whole of December doing some fluffy cloud business. Okay. So I've now assigned it to Fulsha. Okay. And I'm going to tell it that, this is a major risk. It's an overall financial statement risk. And I could just be like, please explain this to me. The beach life was too good. Okay. All right. So I can save my note. When I save the note, you'll see I've addressed it to Fulsha. Okay, it's now why are the clouds fluffy? Please explain this to me. Great stuff. We'll pretend that Falsha would log in. He'd see the note, and now he needs to obviously answer the question. Okay, so he would come in and he can go and he can open it from here. He'd also be able to see it from the electronic review. So I just need to find it. So there you go. You'll see there's my PPE. All right. It's now got an exception because I have an open note. So Falsha can go and he can open it from here, and then he can come and chat to me from this point of view, and he can be like, they are like, okay, really random question. So he's going to give me a really random answer, and then he's going to press enter because he's now acknowledging it. And he would then go and say, Nicole, I have addressed this. Okay. If he is logged in as a clerk only, he wouldn't be able to come and actually action it and close the note, okay? That is the responsibility of the manager or the partner. So again, okay, we can come back to our PPE note, and if I go and I refresh it or I close it and open it, I'd be able to see the responses. Okay, now my electronic reviews refreshed. Okay, sorry, didn't mean to close that. Now I come back to my electronic review. Go back to my note. I'm the partner now. I see this. Okay. Falsh just told me they like marshmallows. So I'm like, fair point. Yeah, great stuff. Now I can go and I can press enter. So you can see you've got your whole thread of your review note. How did you get to that assumption? All of that. And now as a partner, I can actually say, you know what? I'm happy with this response. I'm going to close it. And therefore, I now no longer have an exception. As you can see, it's now no longer got a nice little red. It's been closed. There we go. I've now managed to create my little review note and comment it and address it. And that, my dear friends, is a nice little summary on electronic reviews for cloud. I'm going to hand over to the one and only Superman, Christo Buta.
Thanks so much, Nicole. All right, fantastic. So that's a very useful feature to do the reviews, to get everything sorted. Let's pop into the financials and start digging around on the financials. That's my favorite part of the system anyway, so might as well. All right, so let's understand the Draftworx formulas a bit. I always try and explain them just to get, if you understand the Draftworx formulas, you can pretty much do anything with the system. So when you start taking a look at them, first thing that you'll see, okay, obviously my formula is locked, so let's go and unlock the formula. And we can take a look at these Draftworx formulas. Now there's a few different things to look at, but most of them are going to look like the one that I'm currently showing. So the one that is currently at the top here, we can see in the bar, sum if TB blank, and it's got a little bit of info, and then it says final. Now the main information that we're looking for here when you're looking at a basic formula is pretty much this this little green part, and it's been, Marius made it nice and pretty. You can see the colors change depending on which section of the formula it is. It's nice and easy to spot it, but you're looking for this part that is green on your side. And what this says, this tells the system which link the system is using to calculate the numbers here. All right. So what it's doing is it's saying look for all of the things that are NA. So that if you know our links, that's non-current assets. .0, and then it's got a bunch of question marks. So what the question marks are is they are wildcards, meaning that it can be anything that's got NA0 in it. So if we go and look at the drill down, it's also going to explain it to us, because in the drill down we can then see that the link number is NA.0, and then this one is 40.000, this one's 40.002, this one's 30. So it's taking all of those and adding them together essentially because of those little question marks. So the question marks allow it to be a wildcard essentially. So allow it to be any number. If we go dig a little bit deeper and we go take a look at our PPE note itself, you'll see here are formulas that are more exact. So they no longer have those question marks. All right. So when you're working through this and you're working through the file, take a look at that. If you ever are not sure, we do have the drill down that helps you find out why something has an amount. But if you suspect, if I'm over here and I'm like, okay, but machinery should have an amount, why doesn't it have an amount? If you take a basic quick look here at the formulas, it actually gives you a very, very nice idea of, okay, but my linking should be NA.020.000. And then I can go back to my working TB and go and take a look at my linking, all right? So I can go in here, I'm going to say NA.020, and there's my machinery, plant and equipment. So it is useful to understand how our formulas work. They'll guide you around where the linking needs to go. It's super useful, and it allows you to build your own formulas on your side as well. If you can understand that, you can go and build your own note using them. If you want to type it up yourself, Nicole's also going to show you later an awesome way to actually build it with the system. A few other basic things that we have here that I just want to touch on. We can insert a new sheet. So a very simple feature. If I wanted to insert a new sheet, I simply click there. I can type in hello, insert, and there's a new blank sheet for me. So if you need to add extra supplementaries or anything like that, you're welcome to just hit the insert sheet. And one of the things we also sometimes see, and it especially comes from guys that used Draftworx Desktop, and it's usually them saying, listen, I've got these dots on the side where, like how in Draftworx Desktop we've got little ones and zeros. Now if you ever want to figure that out or find it again, you can actually go to the developer tab, and we've got a nice little setting, just says toggle helper gutter. Now I know the wording is a bit strange, but essentially all that it does, if I toggle it, and now we have our ones and zeros. For all those guys that are coming through from desktop, if you want your ones and zeros back, toggle gutter helper under the developer tab, super useful. You just toggle it on or off, and it should remember it as well across your financial. So if you now go into another financial, it will remember it for you. So you don't need to worry about doing that again. Another useful feature we have, and this is very nice if you are trying to figure out your changes in equity, or sometimes if you're working on a big PPE note, we can freeze panes. So let me hop back here. If I want to freeze panes essentially so that I can see these headings even when I scroll down, it's also part of the developer tools. You'll see there's a little button, freeze panes. I simply click that, and now you can see scrolling through, but I still have my headings staying at the top. So very useful if you're working and you're struggling to find things. Do remember to unfreeze again if you are on something like your note sheets. I have seen it where somebody goes and does it on the note sheet, and then they're scrolling and they're like, why are the headings wrong? So it's quite a useful one. Freeze panes, unfreeze panes, super useful on the little developer tab. All right, then one of the main places we do a lot of the work is on our little template tools, and that's especially for the advanced guys. Obviously we're here for advanced, so one of the very, very useful things that we have here, we can go through and do a whole bunch here, but I don't want to do it myself today. I want to give that honor to a lady who, rumor has it, that Madonna once asked her to tour for her, but she had to decline because it was test week. And that the mere mention of her name causes deferred tax to calculate itself. I'm honored to present to you the amazing Matsebo.
Hi, everyone. Good afternoon to you all, and welcome back to those who have been with us on Tuesday, and welcome again if you've been with us just for today. So I'm going to show you guys just a few tricks today, just a few tricks in terms of cloud, on how you're going to restore your cell if you've made an error, and obviously share again the formula drill down, and also how to add additional links. So if I can just get confirmation if you all can see my screen.
Yeah, it looks good my side. So
All right. All right. Perfect. All right. Perfect. So now, so I'm just going to imagine this is me. I'm reviewing my financial statements. I'm done, and I've asked our clerk. I will just say it's Nicole. To just complete everything for me, and she has done so. But as I hop on into my financial statements, there's a few errors that I have, right? And the F's are already saved. I'm not sure what was the link that was in finance post. I'm also not sure what's making up or bringing up this possible note mismatch for other expenses. So what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to use interuse the drill down and also how to restore that cell at the same time. So what I need to do, the first thing first, you just always, instead of going to your trial balance, because there's just a lot of transactions and I don't have time for that. So I'm just going to go straight to my financial statements and make sure that I'm on the cell that has an issue. And I'm just going to use the drill down. And if I just scroll down there, I don't see anything that's odd or anything that's out of the ordinary. So then what do? I could actually use the very same drill down on my notes. So I'll quickly hop on into my notes. And if I hop onto the advertising, I will just put on my drill down. If you can just see here, there's no issue on my advertising. I just scroll down, nothing here as well. If I continue scrolling down, and voila, here's my issue. Nicole just typed in this amount instead of using the actual formulas because she was too focused on eating her cookies instead of fixing the financial statements. So right now, the the very easiest way to spot if there's a manual intervention on a formula, except for PPE notes, it's when you have this account number that says explicit value. That's how you're going to spot that no, man, this has been manually entered. So what I need to do, I'm just going to close my drill down. And I'm going to quickly go, usually I'll be here on my format. I'll quickly go to my template tools, and I'm going to make sure that I'm replacing cells from template. So I'm going to click on replace cell, and it's going to ask me, are you sure that you want to replace cell L530? Then I make sure I am on L and I am on 530. Then I click yes. Then it replaced. Now I have formulas everywhere that I have. On all my notes, I have formulas. Then I'm just going to quickly go back to my comprehensive income again. Make sure that my finance cost is also fixed. Once more, it's template tools, replace cells, and I'm just going to make sure it's going to ask me again, J37. I am on J37, and I click yes, and it brings back the formulas that were there before. Right, so we're done with that. And then now, if I go to my working trial balance, right? I realized that I have quite a few bank accounts and I need them to be spread across different links on my bank. But now I only am limited to just 5 banks because this is our default. This is our default link numbers for banks. You only have 5 bank accounts on the default. But hey, good thing for Draftworx and the team that works at Cloud that I can actually add extra links on my TV. So what do? I could actually edit via my working trial balance using the add links. But for today, I'm just going to show you how to edit while you are on your financial statements. So I'll quickly just continue and go to my bank. Just so you can see the note before, hop onto my note. And if I scroll down here, I have the details of all the banks, all the links that are pulling up into my bank account. So I have all of that. And if I check bank balance 5 and I use the drill down again, I have different banks that are pulling here. So I need 2 more bank accounts, just 2 more, not a lot. So what do? Once more, I go to my template tools and I will click on add links. So you do have different items. You could actually increase your other expenses links. You could also increase your PPE classes. So those are the other options that we have on here. So I'm just going to quickly type in bank. Now I want to increase my bank accounts, right? And we only have from 5 to 25. As much as I only want 2, but it's going to add up until 25, just in case I open more bank accounts, you never know. So now it's going to give me a lovely message. I'm going to say, okay. I'm just going to wait for it to load. 'Cause, 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 All right. And if I just scroll down further to my bank, can you see now I have more bank accounts that are available? I have more bank accounts that are available. And it's always important, right? Don't just immediately go back to your working trial balance. Just close it. You allow it to refresh. Open your working trial balance again. And I'm going to show the link numbers. If I quickly hop on here, now I have more bank accounts. So I can also filter on the side. Now I just want to separate the other bank accounts. So I'm just going to say I was on 5. Now I'm going to say, okay, fine, where is FNB? And I'm going to go to 7 and I link to Investec. And that's all done. And remember, if anything changes on your working TV or anywhere else, just remember to refresh your financial statements. And once I am done with that, I scroll down, then all the banks now are coming up. My positives are sitting together and my accounts that are on overdraft are also sitting together instead of just summing up on my notes. So that's it from me. And I am just going to hand the mic over to Nikki. I wish you were not working for Draftworx. Otherwise, you'd be releasing a lot of tapes. But now unfortunately, you're working for Draftworx. You can only release out demos. So give it up for Nikki. Thank you.
Thanks, Mateo. That was awesome. Yeah, your tips are great because, we always love to show up or replace sell. I'm just going to give everyone a little quick heads up. I'm going to cover a few more topics and then we're going to head into a break. So in template tools, we want to cover a few nice points. Okay, so I accidentally broke just one line in what Matsebo showed you. But, those cookies, they kind of took over and they really went and wrecked one of my sheets. So I'm looking at my ratio analysis sheet and there's just a whole lot of nonsense and someone needs to save me because Christo is going to be unamused by this. I need to put everything back, but, like highlighting row by row to refresh might be a little bit tedious. So this is kind of a last resort. Okay, if I break a whole sheet like I have, and I haven't gone and customized any notes. So I wouldn't recommend this if I went and I did a whole beautiful set of notes in the notes sheets with my PPE and stuff like this. Then yes, by all means, use the replace cells from template because then you're fixing one error at a time. This is kind of a last resort because what it does is it replaces the whole page to its normal glory. So I'm going to quickly do that so Christo doesn't shout at me, even though he's watching. So import the sheets from template. Okay, I'm on ratio, so you'll see every possible worksheet that is available that is in the template. Okay, so what you will notice is the sheet Christo added hello. It's not part of my normal template. So if I was to go and replace hello from template, I wouldn't get anything because it was a custom sheet. Okay, so now I'm going to look, see ratios, and I'm going to select it. And I'm praying and I'm praying and I'm praying because I can see him walking towards my office. And I'm like, haha, nothing's wrong. And we're patiently waiting. And what it's going to do is it's going to pull back into, yeah, you see, I can hear him coming. And then he walks in and hey, presto, he looks at me. He's like, so how's those ratios looking? I'm like, what do you mean how those ratios looking? They look great. We're doing fabulous in this file. Don't know what you're stressing about. So therefore, import sheets from template is a great tool if you've broken, like say, one sheet. But again, highly recommended to not do it if you've gone and customized and made a whole lot of notes yourself. So yeah, cool thing, great stuff, because it basically restores it to its original format. All right. Now, in some instances, we have our statement of comprehensive income. We have our detailed income statement. Now, we may want to switch it around for whatever purpose. Okay, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. If that's what you want to do, we have a little button and we're going to go and we're going to say, switch the statement of comprehensive income and the detailed income statement. So I press the button. Okay. Promise you guys, cookie break is coming. Then we're going to wow you with some more features in the financial statements. Okay. So I'm going to busy switch my SoCI with my detailed income statement. So now what you'll see is when I look at my SoCI, it's in the format of my detailed income statement. There's my revenue, there's my admin expenses, there's my other expenses. If I go to my detailed income statement sheet, there we go. It's now in the other format. Okay. Disclosure updates. So in the basic session, we obviously explained the whole reasons with disclosure updates, and that's on a roll forward. But now I'm an eager bunny, and I go and I roll forward my file before like February's even hit. And of course, what happens? The budget and tax updates happen in February. So naturally, there's a disclosure update that comes for 2026 files. So what would I do? Because I was super eager, went forward, I wanted to conquer the world. I wanted to impress Christo. So I can always come to disclosure update. Now, obviously, because our file was created now, most of these have been applied. But the theory would be this. I would see, for example, updated tax tables for small and micro businesses, 31 March 2026. I would be able to go, okay, tick that, apply it, and basically it would update that sheet in terms of the tax tables. I'm not going to lose any of my work. I'm just going to insert that disclosure to where it actually should go. That's if I've obviously prematurely rolled forward a file just because I wanted to impress Christo and make sure I was there first. But maybe, I forgot that SARS does change their tax rates in February. Okay. Then, of course, I have detailed income statements. Okay. Client comes back to Christo and I, and they say, you know what? Sorry, guys, we need to split the detailed income statements because for whatever reason, we are running a fuel station and I want to see the fuel on one income statement and the shop on the other income statement. So how would I go about in adding extra detailed income statements? So as you can see, obviously, we only have the one detailed income statement. Well, simply put, you go to your trial balance. This happens at a trial balance level. You can then go and select the relevant income statement. So I'm just going to change bank charges to income statement 2 for now. Okay. When we come back after the break, we will see the updated financials. Okay. So I go to my financial statements and then you'll see it's telling me I need to refresh. But what happens if I had 8 detailed income statements I needed to show? So this detailed income statements button over here allows me to increase the amount of detailed income statements I want. And you can go all the way up to 99. And then once you've done that, the options would be available under type for you to select from that drop down. Okay, so I'm going to select my bank charges for round 2 after our tea break. Okay, and that is our template tools. Join us for some really interesting features that we're going to be building on in the next session.
We're going to jump right back into it, onto the financials. We're going to dig into a little bit more customization work, building your own notes. We're going to look at consolidations a little bit later and a few other things. But we're jumping straight back to Nicole because I have asked her to go and build a custom note. And she better have it done relatively quickly, else there's going to be problems. So back to you, Nicole.
So demanding. Okay, let's do this thing. All right, guys, so I'm going to touch up exactly from where I left off. Okay, so remember in my in my trial balance, I went and I added an extra income statement, right? So I would have let my financial statements refresh. And what you'll note now is I've got detailed income statement 1, detailed income statement 2. Okay, but I'm seeing something that I'm not quite keen on, and I obviously see detailed income statement 2. So what's the difference between the two? Okay, well, I can go and I can actually rename my income statement so I know which department is which department. So if I go to my index, scroll down a little bit, you'll see now I've got detailed income statement 1, detailed income statement 2. So I can go and I can say, well, detailed income statement 1 was my garage. My spelling is atrocious, apologies. Detailed income statement is shop. Let me fix that quickly. Okay, now if you go and jump across to your detailed income statements, you'll see that the name would have changed. So now you know which are your detailed income statements and what they refer to. Now Christo has gone and asked me to build a note. So I go down to my notes. He explicitly wants it on a specific space. So I've already pre-built something, but obviously now I need another note. So he was happy-ish with my table over here. but there's a few changes I need to address and cover. So I now need to go and do another note. So how am I going to do this? And basically how I'm going to do this is I need to insert some rows. Okay, and then I need to kind of create it. So let's go and start. I want my note number to be note number 16 because that's what he has asked. So I'm going to come here and I am going to right click. I can insert rows and I'm going to go and I'm going to insert 10 rows. Okay, so I can go insert 10 rows here. And while that inserts, I'll also point out that if you're not a fan of right clicking where you want to add the rows, you can see in format, I've got insert row options, okay? And same theory, how many rows do you want to enter? You put the number, okay? But now I'm noticing something, okay? I've got my increased rows, but I now need to understand a note. So to understand a note, we need to take it down a notch. So table 1, if you can see my screen, hopefully, you'll see that there is a square with a minus, okay? And the minus goes all the way down to row 2839. So this over here effectively is a note, all right? So anything I type inside the highlighted square at the moment will be part of my note number 15. So this is a group, okay? The first row, 2820, where the square and the minus is basically what we call our heading of our note. So very important because this is where we kind of read a bit of information from here and there. So I can know that that is note number 15, and I know that that's my heading for that note, okay? But now, how do I kind of fix this? Because if I go and I build my new note here, it's going to be part of note 15, and that's not what I'm looking for. So I'm simply just going to select the parts of the note that I actually wanted to be my new note, okay? Seems a bit too long. Let's go there. All right. Sorry. Okay. I go and I select the area that would be my note number 16. I go to design and I simply just say ungroup note. Now what you're going to notice is my little square with my line, instead of going all the way to 2839, it's now only going to 2827. Okay. So now I've got note 15. I have a whole blank space, note 16, but I've got to create my note, my new note 16. So I'm going to go to table 2. And I like to do tables because they're fun and they're informative, and they're also quite an easy thing to do in Draftworx because we can show you how we can customize certain things if we need to. So I'm just going to go and say, okay, we're going to go to South Africa. We want to have a breakdown of regions. We're going to go North America, and we'll throw in Singapore. Okay, so those 3 regions he wanted information on. So then I can go and I can go say, well, you know, that was 10, that was 20, that was 30. I'm going to go and I'm going to get another little bit of a heading. So actually I want to insert another row here. So I need a heading for my table. Okay. And I'm going to go and we can say, well, you know, this was column A. I'm going to go column B, column C, column D. Okay. And again, just kind of filling in my random information that I need to go and update. Okay. The rest doesn't have info. So go fill in. Don't like them that they're on this side. So beauty with being in Excel, I can go to format, I can bold, I can center, I can change colors if I really wanted to. So we'll give our headings a green, and then I can go and just simply give them borders by using my borders. So I'm going to go fill in my borders. And what you'll note is I've got column H, I've got column J, L, and N. In between there are thinner columns. Those are just our spacing columns, so it gives it a little bit of a nice of a look when we do actually finally preview it. Okay, so I've gone and I've put it in, great. Now I can go and I can type the number 16, but if I do, I get 15, 16, 16. That's not what we're looking for, okay? So we'd obviously like this to be ideally organized and auto-numbered. So again, I need to auto-number my note. But in order to do that, I actually need to group my note. Same as in note number 15, I've got my heading, and then I need to have the line below it. So I go and I select everything under table 2. Okay, that's going to be my note, my new note 16. Okay, design, group note. Aha, I've got a square with a minus. It's in line with table 2. You know what? I can control and bold that because I'd like to. Great. So why isn't it giving me note number 16? Just need to tell it one more action, and I'm simply going to go and say auto number the note. Okay, there we go. Now you can see I've got my note. But I know Krista wanted one more thing from me, and he wanted to have a subnote. He wants me to explain what this table is. So got 16, I need a 16.1. So how am I going to do that? So I can add more rows. It's going to add 3 rows. Okay. And I can basically effectively now create a subnote and another subnote if I wanted to. But I'm just going to do one simple one. So table 2 is awesome. Okay, right. So again, I've got a heading. What's underneath my heading is my body. So I'm going to select everything and I simply group my note, auto number my note. I have now got a subnote. Awesome. Yay. But looking across the board here, I see, okay, my 10s and my 20s, let me actually add a really intense number here. Okay, that 1555555 isn't looking like the other 2.5 million that I have there. So of course I'd like them to at least look similar. So what I can go do, and I can see also in this row I might have missed it. So before Krista comes and shouts at me, go and format. What you'll note is in our format where there's custom here, we've got all the different types of formatting you can use, but we have our favorite, well, my favorite one, because it says Draftworx, and it's going to make sure that my formatting is at least in Draftworx setups, so that when you do print it, kind of all looks the same. So there we go. I have now gone and I have built my note. Now I get a quick message from Chriso, and he says to me, you know what, that note 16 that I asked you for, can you please make it note number 15? And I'm looking and I'm like, now I have to cut, copy, paste, try more, insert more rows, ungroup, group, redo all of that stuff. Not necessarily. So yes, he did show off the cool new feature coming up, but at the moment, if you are going to reorder notes or you need to move them around, all you need to do is come to design, go to move up, and effectively that is going to move my whole note up. As a tip from my side, okay, if your auto number notes are on, okay, the move up will always move accordingly. It shouldn't break from that point. If I don't have my auto numbers on, it might cause a little bit of a moving half the note up or down. If that does happen, call on our phenomenal support team and they will happily help you guys out. Okay, so there, I've got my note in order. The Christo should be happy. Before he checks something, I'm looking at something and I'm like, oh, you know what? I need to quickly check what my preview is going to look like. So preview my sheet, because I just want to see what my notes look like and to kind of take it from there. So I'm going to preview my page because I want to show one particular thing because I'm very angsty about my formatting. So I go, I'm having a look and I look and I look and I look and I look. So for example, related parties, okay? I have half my note there and the rest over there. I'd really like the related parties to actually just be in one complete page. So this is going to cover a page break. So I'm going to add that. And there you'll see I've obviously gone and put my cool, awesome table in. I seem to like it. There's the other one. And of course, there's my disclosure. So yay, I'm happy. Okay, but now I want to move my related parties down a bit. So this just brings me to page breaks. So I'm going to go back to my financial statements. I'm going to scroll up a bit to my related parties. And all I'm going to do is find my heading. Again, got my row that I want, print layout, insert a page break. And when I go back to preview that sheet, my note should move down. And that's just a way of like either moving a complete note to another page. I know in basics we covered moving them up, but yeah, at least I can kind of at least just move one page down. So there we go. Got the Lorax who speaks for the trees. Great stuff. My note is on there. There's my tables. There's your disclosure. Thanks, you guys. You are awesome. And that brings me to the end of my session. So now, rumor has it that NASA has once called Michelle to help get the astronauts home. And when Chuck Norris can't figure out why his balance sheet can't balance, he calls on Michelle for support. So I'm going to hand over to our lovely Michelle. Michelle.
Thank you
The
so
floor is
much,
yours.
Nicole. I really appreciate that awesome introduction. Okay, so today I just want to do a little bit of a tip from the Draftwork support perspective. Just to show you what we've seen a lot going on in support, and just to show you how to fix it and why certain things are happening in a certain way. So I'm sure everybody can see my screen. So I'm just on the PPE notes in my note sheet. And I just want to show you, if we have one of our default notes, like the property, plant and equipment note, and I want to now go and insert some rows just to add in another sentence, or if there's, anything that I just want to customize. So I'm going to go to my PPE note, and just below my subnote heading, I want to go and insert some rows. So I'm going to go and insert row. I want to insert 3 rows because I want to add in a sentence for myself there. I'm inserting the rows. So now you'll see my rows are inserted. I'm just going to add in my custom note. My PPE is my superpower. Okay, that's what I want to add into my note, whatever it might be. So now when I've inserted this note, you'll notice one thing happening, that my grouping, as Nicole just explained with the groupings, my grouping has moved down a little bit. And when I preview my financials, what I'm going to see is that my PPE note has now gone and printed all of my columns in my PPE note. Now, why does this happen? The reason for that is we have formulas that work along with our groupings and our subnote numbers in our default notes. And especially with bigger notes like the property, plant and equipment, we like to automate that for you, so you don't have to go and switch on and off things that's not necessary. That's just a little bit of a waste of a time. Okay, so in my formula bar, you'll see that in my subnote heading line, where I've got my 4.1 and the subnote header, I've got a formula. So this is where the formula reads whether or not to print this column in my PPE note. Now with this that I've added in my extra lines, my grouping has moved down a little bit. Okay, and my note number is not going to work so lekker, and my formulas aren't going to work correctly anymore, just because of the grouping that has changed now. So to fix that up, I need to include the rows that I've now inserted into my grouping for my subnote. So I'm going to highlight from the last row that I inserted just to below my subnote heading, and I'm going to go back to design, and I'm going to go and group my note again. So now you'll see my hashtag has moved up. It's bold and highlighted again. And that means that my note number is in the correct place, my grouping is in the correct place, so now my formulas can work correctly again. So now when I go and do my preview, I have my little extra lines that I've inserted, and my PPE note is printing correctly again. Okay, so that's just a small little thing that I wanted to show off. If you have any questions on that, please feel free to ask the support team or on the Q&A. Okay, so I think I need to give over to Chris too after my little show here.
Yeah, well, thanks so much, Michelle.
Okay, awesome. Thanks, everyone.
Awesome. Thanks, Michelle. Yeah, good tip always to remember, make sure that your tables and the little headers of the tables, the grouping, is placed in the correct place. Anyway, let's jump into that nice table that was created for me. So I've come back, I've taken a look at this table that Nicole went and created for me. It's got some typed in values. We've got ABC at the top. Now I come investigate and I'm like, but why do we want to type in values? Typing in values is average. We don't want to type in values, we want to automate. If you automate now, it always saves you time in the future, right? So essentially, what will happen is, next time I will come in here, I would have to go and update these values themselves. manually. So let's say the 30 was typed in here and we're moving on to the next year. I'd need to copy and paste that across and then manually type in whatever my next year would be. So we want to actually automate that. We don't want to go and make it so that I have to manually go and type everything in. And so what we're going to do is we're going to go and customize this formula a bit. So there's a few things that's wrong here. We'll go and just say it's okay. And we're just going to remove a few things from here. So I'm going to go, and because I am manager or partner my side, I can unlock formulas. So just be aware of it. If you are manager or partner, you can go through and I can just unlock formulas, and anything that was locked, including on our financial side, like our big formulas, you can actually go and customize a little bit. So I'm going to go unlock the formulas to give me free reign to do whatever I'd like in this template. And now I'm going to clean it up a little bit. So what this is, this table 2 is actually my sales data. So we're going to modify, and we're going to go change things up. We've got a bunch of incomes from different places. Now, if we look at the working TB, we go look at our sales data. We can see that there's a few different sales from different countries, right? So we can go and pull that in. So I want to automate that. Now, there's 2 ways to do it. If I go to design, I can either pull in values according to the trial balance link mapping number. So in your TB, your account number, I can use that to pull in my data. So we can do that. Or we can pull in data using the Draftworx link system. Now, there are some upsides to using the Draftworx link system. So to understand it, let's first pull in data from the TB according to the account numbers. So I want to pull in the South Africa sales data for the current year. So the way that I do it, you'll see it says trial balance values. I can say final or prior. So final would be the current year, but prior would be the previous one. So I'm going to say final. And here I've got an actual pop-up that happens, and this pop-up is all of my, or it's my TB essentially. So I can go search, and we're going to find South Africa, and I'm simply going to click on that. I can click on it once and say select, and then it's going to select it, or you just double click. And what it does is it builds a formula for me. So it automates the formula. And it says, okay, if the account number is South Africa, in this case, pull in the final year's value, the current year's value. So I would do that. And that works relatively well until next year comes along. And maybe your client no longer uses that specific, South Africa line item. Maybe they now use South Africa 1 and 2, or they've got some kind of different split in their TB. The problem with that, as soon as the account number changes, and let's just call this now South Africa 1, right? So we change the account number. As soon as that account number changes, and I just refresh my data to pull in from the TB again, then this customization that I've done to automate my life, to make my life easier in the future, actually stops working, because now the account number no longer matches what I've specified it to be. All right, because it's got the -1 at the back. So the better way to do it, and that's why we say we've got the ability to do our link numbers as well, and it's actually the better way to do the linking, because I can go over here and I can say, okay, let's choose to import via the link numbers instead. It's going to still show me a list, but now what it shows me is it shows me all the link numbers that's currently utilized in the system. All right, and I can go through here, and I'm going to quickly go take a look for my income items. Just on double check, there they are. Revenue, there's South Africa, the disclosure description. Double click, and this time it doesn't really matter what the account itself is. It matters on your linking. And so now you've essentially created a formula that works exactly like the rest of our formulas. So it's bulletproof to changes from your client side. If they've changed their accounting system, their accounting package, anything like that, it doesn't really matter, because now you essentially have the ability to just pull in exactly what you need. And then you can really go and build a nice custom template on your side. So I can go, okay, there's my next one. I can again pull in all of the different countries on my side, and it brings in all of my data. Fantastic. Let's put in a total over here. You can create normal formulas just like Excel, and I'm just using my keyboard here to do those entries. As Nicole said, we want to make it look nice and neat, so we use the Draftworx formatting. And these are standard Excel formulas, guys. If you want this to be positive numbers, just put a minus in the front, and it obviously inverts for you. All right, so there's no struggle in terms of when you're customizing to make sure that the value is right. We can also take these same values and now pull in the prior year. So if I want to copy these, paste it across, now I've got them over here, and you'll see obviously they're pulling in the final, so that means it pulls in the current year data. Now I want the prior year data here, and I don't want to manually go and change that. Obviously this is 3, but if you've got a bigger table, it could take quite a lot of time. One of the cool little features we have is if you go to the developer tab, you'll see we've got this section. It says replace formula values, and it's got a few things highlighted at the moment. So it's got final, TB link, and all link numbers. So the one that I want to focus on here is actually just the final, and I can switch that final to prior, and with a click of the button my formula automatically updates to say prior 1, and essentially now it's all the backdated data that's being put in. So super easy to customize and build my own table. I don't need to spend hours and hours. The sum formula is going to work exactly like Excel. That's going to automatically adjust your numbers. And you don't need to, you can just copy paste that across. So you can build one row, build the current year, copy paste that all across to the prior year, use the little button to move it over to prior, and you've saved yourself, hours of work at the end of the day if you're doing a lot of customization. So super useful to pull that information in. Now, one of the other things we often get is we want to have a reference to a note number. So I want to maybe say, refer to note number, and we want to, let's say, use I don't know which number it is. We'll use table 1 over here at the bottom, which is our table 16. So I want to do that, which is fine and well. I can type in 16, but again, if we go up to the top and let's say the related parties note gets closed or whatever it might be, now note number 16 is my disclosure, and it's no longer this table, and my type in over here becomes useless. I don't really want to worry about it anymore. So what we can do is we can actually link this specifically to that number, and it's a little bit of Excel, but also some uniqueness. Obviously we try and emulate in that sense, but it's super useful to be able to do that kind of thing. So let's change this. What I'm going to do is we're going to say equals. We're going to, like you would in Excel, you would open up your little, what are those? In chat, like speech symbols. And I'm just going to say ref, and I'm going to type in note number, and I'm going to put a space in and close them. So now that's hard-coded text, essentially. I've just put it in there, and then I put in an and symbol, and I can simply then click on that number. So that's the one way to do it, and you can see it references automatically now. So if I change the notes around it, if I go pop open some other notes, you can see the reference stays correct, matching my table. So that's fantastic. Makes life easy, gives us the ability to refer to other places in the system. We can take it a step further though, because what I can do is if I'm referring to this table, but I want to refer to it in a completely different note, all right, so somewhere else in the financials, a completely different sheet or whatever it might be, We can do that, and it's relatively simple. Again, what I can do, let's just put it in here. I can say ref, and we can put in the and symbol, and I can click on here and go and find this, and it's going to build this for me, which is fantastic. It makes my life easy. The one thing to remember here is that sometimes these can get disrupted if you're deleting a lot of rows, inserting a lot of rows. The what we call exact reference to that cell might get disrupted. All right. Now, if that were to happen, this formula then will break down. All right. Now, we don't want that. We want this to be a permanent fix. We don't want it to be a one-shot, you know, if there's inserts or things like that, it loses this data. Although it does accommodate for inserts most of the time, but there are some things that sometimes it loses references. So what we do is we've got named ranges, and it works the same as named ranges in Excel. But what you can do is I can create a named range, and then I can refer to it. So instead of referring to the cell, I'm going to refer to the named range. So what I'm going to go and do here is I select the cell that I want to turn into a named range, and you'll see under design we've got this little named ranges section. We've got quite a big section. You can do a whole bunch of things with it because it's actually a very powerful tool for your own Excel as well. Go investigate it if you're interested. But what I would go and do is I'm going to create a new named range, and I'm just going to say this is table 1, and we're going to say note number. Important thing here, just that you can't have a space in your named ranges, so I use underscore to essentially indicate if I'm like making a space. And I would select that. It's going to say refers to, and you can see the refers to is then that exact name range or that exact cell reference. But now I can say OK, and you'll see as I click around, right, we've got the little cell indicator at the top here. If I click on that cell now, it actually gives me the named range. So that's become an important cell essentially. You've given it a name pretty much on your side. Now, instead of having this direct reference, I can actually replace this and. I'm going to just take out that. I'll leave the and there, and I'm actually just going to replace that. And it still keeps it, okay, it stays 17 in this case, obviously, because it hasn't changed. But it makes it a little bit neater, a little bit more flexible, and a little bit more hardy to customization changes. If you're doing different changes and different things, it helps us with that. And that's one of the big things that just makes Draftworx easy to use, especially if you understand Excel and so on. One of the things we actually built, I believe we built it this year, it went in, or last year, this past one, we built the name range manager, which if you are doing this and you're building your own name ranges and all kinds of things like that, use that. If you struggle to figure out, oh, but where did I put that name range? I can't even remember. If you click here, it gives you a list. It's a ton of name ranges because we use them a lot. As you can see, we've got a ton of them, but I can actually search over here. So I can search for my table and it gives me a reference to it. I can edit it if I'd like and just modify it in any way that I want, or I can delete it. I can create a new one from here as well. So very useful feature. It is obviously on the more advanced end of the spectrum of things, but yeah, very, very useful feature. And you can use this on your own Excel as well. So one thing just to mention that we also have, we can import data from the file manager, and you can import Excel documents. So if you want to import your own Excel documentation, pull them in, and you can use, if you're using named ranges, if you're using like a lot of the Excel features, the system supports that. So you can really go and build if you've got a nice extensive list of your own working papers or that kind of thing, you can bring it in with the file manager. And it's really simple. I just select file manager at the top here. I would go and choose which folder to save it in. So you'll see each of these folders match up our drop downs at the top here. And let's say I want to pull something into my working papers. And we're going to just choose into the engagement setup. I can go create a new file if I want, or I can actually just upload. So I'm going to say upload, select a file, and on my computer now, I can go and take a look. Sorry, let me pull that across. I can go take a look. Okay, let's say I want to pull in my TB that I used. Double click on that, upload it in, and now, as easy as that, under working papers, we're now going to have our trial balance that I pulled in. So I can go and take a look at that. So it's very convenient. And as I said, if you've got formulas in here already in this trial balance, then they would work in Draftworx. So go and play around with it if you've got some extensive working papers or some calculations or whatever it is for your clients. Try and pull it into Draftworx, see if it works. It's very, very useful. All right, let me take a look at my list here. Well, some of the other things that we can do if we want to hyperlink across. So hyperlink, super useful feature that we also already have, and we use it in a ton of places. If you look at statement of financial position, a hyperlink would be all of these. So what it does, there's two different types of hyperlinks. There's internal hyperlinks, which is if I look at this one, it's going to be the one that just says note, where it takes me internally to a certain location in the file. So in this case, it pops me into the PPE note. Or we have external hyperlinks, and those are on this side. And what they do is they open a whole new working paper for me. So you'll see there, we've now pulled in and we've gone and opened the PPE working paper. So you've got those two types of hyperlinks. Really easy to set them up. If you do want to go create some custom hyperlinks or anything like that, you'll see on the side we've created a hyperlinks option, and this is for the external documents. So if I wanted to hyperlink some of these values back to an external document, it's actually more used if maybe I'll use it here on the lead schedule. So on the lead schedule, I want to have a reference for my assets. So let's use it here. So we're going to say, okay, so what is the reference to these asset values? Why can I tick this as a valid value? I'm going to put in my proof over here, and I'm going to say hyperlinks. Now, I've already uploaded a file earlier and using the file manager, but I can go to hyperlinks. I can go dig through here, and there you can actually see I actually have an asset register already. Just to explain what you're seeing here, again, you're seeing all of our headings. If I minimize all of them, you can see they match our drop-down lists: financial data, lead schedules, working papers, and documents. So it doesn't have all of them because reports is our internal reports and the taxation is for the exports. But you can pull in hyperlinks from all of the other locations. So now what I'm going to do is I want to do the hyperlink. I have saved my asset register in the working papers. So I'm going to select it over here. I'm going to just quickly find it. There it is. And I just double click. And on the cell where I was is now it just goes and puts the first word of that working paper in, but it's now in blue text. And if I again pop it open, we pull through to our asset register that I have on my side. So it's very easy to go and pull in all of your proofs, send all of these documents, send your lead schedules through to the auditors or whoever it might be, and they can check your proofs and everyone's happy. So ease of use, and you can imagine if we extend this to what we showed earlier with the client portal, you can start fixing up your leads, sending those lead schedules through to your auditor, and he's got it there. He can download them. He can pull the references, all of those kind of things. So it's super useful to use these features. All right. Going from there, there's just a few more things to show you guys. The one being on the print preview, I want to quickly open that, and we're going to show you one of the cool features where I can import some additional information into here. Now this is my awesome preview from earlier. And actually what I need to do, I need to go make a modification. So let's pop this out. I'm going to go make a modification. I'm going to go back to content. I'm going to actually add an auditor's report. So this file is going to get audited, but I'm not the auditor. I compiled this. So that's fine and well. So now we've got an auditor's report, but the Draftworx audit report's not going to match what your auditor has written in terms of their opinion and all of that. Most likely it's not going to match up. The auditor will end up going and giving you an audit report on his side. So now we want to make that audit report that the auditor gives us, we want to make that part of this file. So the way that I do it, again, we start with the file manager to import the document. So the auditor sends me his signed off audit report. I'm going to take this, I can put it wherever I want. I'm going to put it in, let's say, documents. We're going to say upload, select the file, and I've got the custom audit report. So that's the final audit report. The guy signed, everyone's happy. I'm going to upload it in. And now what I can do on the print preview, under all, if you scroll down, you've got this section that says sheets, and it says attach PDF files to sheets. And you'll see that then we've got a bunch of sheets, and all of these sheets are essentially the different sheets that I have in my Draftworx file. You can see there's that hello one that I created, and we've got all of the other ones. So I'm going to find my report audit, which is my auditor's report as it currently is, and I want to go and replace it. So I'm going to click on the little paperclip over here, and I can choose how to attach my file. Attach it above it, attach it below it, or I can actually replace it with a file. So attach above and below, useful if you have additional schedules that you want to attach onto the file. In this case, though, I want to go and actually replace it. And so I'm just going to say replace, and I'm again presented with the folder structure that we have, and I'm going to go to documents because that's where I put my audit report, and click on that. And you can see it now scratches out audit report, and it says, listen, we've got a new one. It's been replaced with this. And if I apply this logic, the system's going to go through and it's going to pull in that new PDF. And there is my audit report that's from my auditor. And I'm happy to essentially take this and print out from this further and so on. I can obviously download, print. It's part of your document now. So some very useful features. It also updates the page numbering on the audit report. So if I go back to my index, you'll see independent audit report. Okay, the page numbers 6 and 7. It will adjust. If I've got a very long audit report, that will adjust the page numbering there as well. So very, very nice. All right, so that's mostly the awesome things on the financial statements.
Krista,
Yes.
sorry, can you do one favor for me? Because I think I messed it up when I was previewing mine. So I've obviously broken a setting
Scandalous.
somewhere,
Scandalous.
as always. Can you just jump to the notes where we've got like 4, 4.1 and all of that?
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah. So you know how, okay, so I went and I accidentally broke my settings there. So can I move those numbers into under the heading? I know we covered it in basics, but can you just remind me? Yes,
Sure,
please.
sure. Okay, yeah. So it happens, mistakes are made, but we fix it quick and easy. So as you can see at the moment, the note numbers are in the margin. All right. Now what I want to do is I want to push them under my headings. And the way that I'm going to do that, it's really, really simple. You'll see there is a little button over here that says note number position. And currently it's inside of the margin, meaning my margin's here, it's inside of it. I can click there and I can say prepend to note, which means it's then going to just attach it to the front of the note heading. If I apply that, it's going to take a second too. Again, we just wait for the load. But there you go. We can see it's now lined up nicely, and that's exactly how I always want my financials. And so I'm happy Nicole doesn't have to stress. One of the
Thank
convenient things here is you can see there's a little blue dot next to it. And that blue dot actually indicates that this is a global setting. So all of the financials are now fixed. So we fix everything Nicole has done with one click, and that's really magnificent and powerful at the end of the day. So going off from there, we can then finalize our file, go ahead and finish it up. I think that's pretty much everything advanced on the financials I wanted to show today. There is one more section that we wanted to cover, and that is essentially my consolidations. So consolidations, we are able to do it in Draftworx. There has been updates to it to make it easier, because we know everybody hates consolidations, or at least I don't know, I didn't like them. Maybe there's a few people out there who loves them. I don't like
was on
them.
the same boat. Not my favorite.
Exactly that. So let's try and make it a little bit easier for you. So there's two ways to do consolidations in Draftworx. I'm pulling back all the way to my client list, and we can kind of investigate further. So I've got a bunch of ways to do it. I can have the separate companies in Draftworx. So in Draftworx, I've got company A, B, C. That's already been set up, and there's a holding, a subsidiary, and there's actually a dollar one. Now with this, these companies have been set up, they have TBs in them, they've been linked, I've already done the work. All right, so that's option A, and we're gonna do option A completely through in terms of consolidation, and then I'm gonna show option B, which is the new way of doing it. But option A, we've got each separate company already created in Draftworx. I'm then gonna go and actually create a new consolidation file. We're going to do a new consolidation, whichever framework it might be. Important thing to note, generally you want your frameworks to match when you are doing consolidation, because our link numbers do differ between them. But I'm going to do that. I'm going to create my consolidation, and we're going to pull that in. If we now go to the working trial balance, the rest here is obviously the same. Client setup, all of those things are done. But we have the working TB, and in the working TB we have this little button, consolidation. So I can click on that, and I can click on consolidations again. And now what we have is it gives us a list of all of my client files. We've got a filter here, so if you want to search through it, you can. It's going to bring up only the ones you're looking for, all of those kind of things. But basically here, I'm just going to choose all of the entities that I want on my site. So there I've selected those 3, and we've got our holding, and we've got 2 subsidiaries. Very simple. One thing to note in this case, my one subsidiary is $1. Fantastic. Now, how are we going to change that? We want to then convert from dollar into rand in this case. So at the bottom here, we've got a little tick box. It just says add foreign currency translation. So make sure to tick that on. And then I can go next. And what it does is it gives me each of these companies that I want to import. And I can go and put in the spot and average for the current year, the prior year, and actually 2 years back. So we've got 3 years that you can pull in. And I can just go put in, those averages, whatever it might be. Whoa, that would be wild. 130. Shoo. Okay, we'll keep it at 18. I have no idea what the rate's like these days. All right, and we're going to say next. And you can also include the prior year's data if you want to pull in prior year information into the console. In this case, I don't want to. There is also management accounts. So if you have separate files that are monthly management packs where you're pulling in all of the monthly info, you can pull in the monthly info from the separate files as well. But in this case, I'm going to just consolidate as is. And this will pull in my data from the different companies. And there you can see we have an extra column now in our system. So client A, client B, company A, B, and C. And we have all of that in. Company C, you'll see it would have done a conversion on these values. So we've pulled in new values over here because it's applied the foreign currency. It actually also creates an account for you for the foreign currency. So you can see there, we created an FTC account. We've linked it up for you, and essentially it does a balancing calculation to balance out your trial balance for this company. So very, very useful to pull in all of your data, all of that. Now, to show you the new way to import data with the consolidations, and it actually makes life 1,000 times simpler. I can actually just delete, I'm going to delete everything. Let's clean it up. And we're going to do a new one. So consolidation is clear. You can see I've got no more accounts linked up. So this is if you don't want to create all the separate files in Draftworx. So we know obviously each file costs money, so we decided to assist and just kind of remove that you have to create it, because why create a file if you maybe don't have to do a set of financials for one of these standalones. So I then have my consolidated entity. Sorry, I just want to make sure I'm in the right one. New consoli. I'm still going to go to the working trial balance, but this time instead of going to consolidation to import, I'm going to go to my Excel imports. I'm going to import, and I can go find my trial balance. And I just need to make sure on my TB, obviously it's now a new trial balance that I have with multiple different companies. Again, you can see I've got company A, company B on this TB. All right. And I'm going to do exactly the same as what I would normally do, where I would go and do my account numbers, account names, debit amounts, credit amounts. We can do the linking if needed, all of that. But now we've got this additional little import which says client name. And here I could go and select this column A. And what that's going to do, it works exactly then like the consolidations. The only thing now that happens is if I import, it's going to pick up that I'm doing a consolidation. And it's going to ask me, okay, but we need to know which company, what's your company structure like? Do you have subsidiaries? You know, is it one holding, one other? So I just need to give it that structure. And as soon as I give it that structure, I can confirm and the import happens. And again, we've got a standard consolidation on our hands where everything is split between the holding and the subsidiaries. Makes life super easy if you are doing consolidations. You don't have to do the split files. You can now go and consolidate in the Excel and then bring up the Excel into Draftworx and do a one-shot console. The financials work the same. They look a little bit different. I just want to double check. I had a few items there unlinked. Let's quickly clean that up. I'm just going to link them all to one place because we're nearly done here. So let's quickly take a look at the financials. Just to show you that one difference in the consolidations is how they look. Essentially, they are 4 columns instead of just your 2. So you have your current and prior. Let me just double check. You know what? I have the wrong set of templates here. So let's bring in a new template. If I go to my client setup, I can pull template financials. And I'm going to pull in a new template from scratch. And we just want to double check that it is correct. But essentially, this should now be the proper consolidated file. One other thing to note with the consolidation files, if you do any journals in the console files, if I go to my journal entries, any journal in the consolidation files is considered an elimination journal. So you can't do corrections in your consolidation files. It has to be elimination journals. So just be aware of that. It's one of the important things we often see guys trying to do corrections in the consolidation files. You can either do those corrections in the standalone file if you've got the separate entities in Draftworx, or in your Excel if you're doing the new method and so on. And maybe just to touch on that, we actually did a whole lot of work this year to change consolidation entities and change the files. The whole setup of how the consoles work on our server and so on has actually changed completely to make them more efficient, to make them faster, and to make them work better. So Brett, thanks so much for the work on that. I think we took a couple of months doing that, me and Brett, and it was a hassle, but yeah, consolidations are working a lot better now, and we're very happy with it. So yeah, hopefully you guys use the features there. and you're able to either import via the Excel or the direct import from the other account Draftworx files. And that's pretty much it from my side, guys. I think for today, round it up. Remember the support. If anyone gets stuck, remote support, contact support, please hit up our team if you need anything. And we're excited about the future, guys. Go and play with files. You can go and, soon you're going to be there using the client portal. Soon we're going to see, guys, multiple people interacting at the same time on a set of financials. I see Nicole and Pumi haven't left this file. Fantastic.
Sorry,
there's some really excited. No, it's all good. It's good to have you. It's always fantastic to be able to give you guys awesome new features. It's one of the most exciting parts of the system that I have, and I really, really enjoy showing off all the new things. It's sort of like I said, I always bug the developers for new ones, and we're excited for you guys to test it out. So let us know if you want anything else. Please, feedback, as always, super, super useful. And I think with that, I'm sure you guys have heard enough of me. So I'm going to stop talking.
I think there's one thing I wanted to add. Well, Krista,
Yes.
Obviously you are a rock star when it comes to the stuff. You learned from the best. We can turn cameras on.
The guys with us can turn cameras on if you are.
I think one thing I just want to remind everyone about is we're not quite done with our webinars just yet. We do have next week up and coming. So working papers. Please join us for that one, where we're going to go through the working papers. We'll have some tips and tricks there as well for you guys. Then following that, we have XBRL on the 30th, and we are going to finish the webinars off with the ever exciting RAC. Okay, so that's on the 4th of February. So if you have not signed up, please, follow up with the registration, ask support if you'd like to attend one of those. They should still be up and running and good to go. That's it from my side.
Thanks so much, everyone. Thanks a lot for joining. Always fantastic to have you guys.
Thanks, you guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Have a good evening.
This is the exact problem we had on Tuesday. We didn't record this debate.
There
was no proof, but
No
I did
evidence.
win. Yes. I
No
did win.
evidence. No.
Oh, so no director's cut.
Okay, so
no director's cut.
so we're just avoiding the bets then.
Yeah, no bets.
Apparently.
I'm gonna
The numbers were 874 for Tuesday. Who got that?
I was 920.
I said 850.
Well, that's
You said
Krista?
700.
I just said between 8 and 900, so I was there, but I know that it wasn't. I should have narrowed it down a bit. Anyway.
So
I
the
called
debate
920.
between me and Chris too. He said 700 and I said 800.
It
So
was
I
revised.
obviously
Yeah.
I
And then
wasn't
you
asked
revised
if
it
it
at the
was my.
last minute.
Not at the last minute. It was like 3 minutes before the bet
Yeah.
was even finalized.
I'm gonna start the session.
Yeah.
I did win. Thank you so
Okay.
much.
All
Good luck,
then.
everyone. Have fun.
Yeah, have fun, guys. Enjoy.
Babies.
You're all rock stars, man, and it's such a pleasure to host for you. All right, there we go. So just for the panelists, if you guys, the reason I'm talking is because one of our presenters told me they get nervous when there's silence. So I feel like I've just got to say something. So it's before I welcome everybody, just for the panelists, if you have a look down below at the participants counter, you should see that going up quite rapidly. And that means that our guests are coming into the virtual meeting room. So wonderful to have you. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us this afternoon.